Research shows that many Jamaicans are aware of how climate change affects them. However, they need funding to make the changes necessary to adapt to climate impacts. This challenge is addressed to some extent through the Adaptation Program and Financing Mechanism AP&FM for the Pilot Program for Climate Resilience. The AP&FM has partnered with the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica and the JN Bank to offer grants and loans through the Special Climate Change Adaptation Fund SCAF and the Climate Change Line of Credit CCLOC.
The Environmental Foundation of Jamaica functions as the fund administrator for the Special Climate Change Adaptation Fund. This is a partnership with the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and the IDB. And we give grants to eligible organizations.
The Climate Smart Loan was set up to assist businesses operating in the agriculture and tourism sectors to implement climate change technologies so that their businesses can be resilient with any climate changes that may occur.
Most of those projects on the climate resilient cropping systems were for greenhouses and shade houses, and we were successful in implementing 46 greenhouses, which had a total of 134,000 square feet of agricultural production taking place in those greenhouses. We were able to do water management projects, and from our data thus far, over 8 million gallons of water have been harvested and stored for use for both agricultural and domestic purposes.
I think a major success for us was being able to disburse a little over $300 million, and we were able to support over 299 business operators, 299 loans, close to 300.
In the first round of the call that we did, we found that there was a challenge in distinguishing between climate change adaptation and climate change mitigation, and so the proposals were not as strong as they should be. The other thing we found was that a lot of the organizations operating in the eastern and western sections of the island were not very responsive. And so we had to now find a way to target them and also to ensure that we got better quality proposals. So we increased our proposal writing sessions. We tailor-made it so that it addressed the issues that we were finding. And so by the time we had the second call for proposals, we had better projects. In the first call, we struggled to award 29 projects. By the second call, we were able to award 55 projects.
The ethos of Jane Small Business Loans is to support the underserved. And that was not a difference in our approach with this particular program. So our focus was really on the underserved. As you know, there are particular families that are more vulnerable, particularly those headed by females, and so there was no difference. We did make the process one that is accessible to all.
We found that for the majority of the community-based organizations we worked with, there were women in charge. In fact, in the second phase of the SCAF that we did, a lot of the organizations were led by women, and so they were at the forefront in the implementation of those projects.
I think when we talk about sustainability for a program of this nature, we talk about expanding the sectors and the industries that the program supports. So initially I would have shared with you the program as is was geared towards the agricultural sector and the tourism sector. Opening up to sectors such as the manufacturing sector and construction is going to be very important.
A lot of the organizations lack capacity, and you have to find ways to work with them given their capacity issues. They're excited to start the projects and to do the work on the ground, but sometimes they lack the capacity. And what we have found is that you would start the project with person A and B, and by the time you get to the closure of the projects, those people would have moved on, and there are different people in the organization that you have to work with. So we had that in terms of capacity issue. We had, again, as I said, the pandemic would have impacted them. And then to sell the idea to them that these projects need to be sustainable, that means after we have given you the funding, you have to make sure that whatever systems you put in place have the projects being successful and maintained.
To learn more about the AP&FM, visit www.ppcrja.org.jm.